Senator Thomas Byrne, you must be happy with your constituents that you're able to see here today.
Well, I've always been a strong supporter of Flexibus. It does tremendous work bringing people out from isolated villages into the towns, into the health services, and really you can see the result of it here today. All these people would probably not be able to get out of their homes today except for the Flexibus service, and that's why we started it when we were in government, and I certainly hope this government will continue the funding forward. It's absolutely essential.
And when the debate comes round in the Senate about rural transport, and you, as part of Meath, one of the number one in the country, you have to be an advocate for the rural transport.
Well, I've always been an advocate for it. I mean, it's called the Rural Transport Scheme, but it also serves places like Stamullen, which is the largest town in Ireland with no bus air and service. So until we get some service there, Flexibus and the Rural Transport Service step in. But they're flexible as well, as they say, so they can call around to people's houses, pick them up, bring them to the hospital, bring them into towns, whatever needs to be done. If they're organising tours for the old folks groups or whatever, you can hire a bus as well. So it's an excellent service, and it really is a lifeline for many people.
And when you, of course, the government has to take 3% off this and 4% and 7%. Presumably the pressure comes on you when you're trying to be an advocate, but you really have to fight hard these days to support it.
Well, it's a question of not eliminating it entirely. Like, they can come along and we'll just scratch that. We don't want them to do that. If they have to make cuts, great, look for efficiencies first. Keep the service as best you can, but don't throw it out, because these people would be literally stuck without it.
And the Senate can be a big influence on government decisions.
Absolutely. I mean, we're a voice there. We represent people. We try to make sure that our voices are heard. But in general, there's wide support for the Rural Transport Service. And this is a good way of highlighting it.
So you would see that with them encompassing all of Meath, Meath's a large county, and you can see from the numbers of people here today, there's a lot of people availing of the service.
Yeah, it's absolutely huge, and more find out about it. They can put on services that arise as the need arises. For example, I think they're about to start a service now connecting with a bus to Beaumont Hospital for people who might have to go up for treatment. It's going to be really important for the people that need that service. So that type of thing, bringing people into the various clinics in the Lourdes Hospital or in Navan Hospital, it's just a critical service that we cannot afford to lose.
And some of the people attending here spoke about how the different services like bus air and the health service are reducing services that Flexibus could effectively manage a lot better and give bigger savings to those organisations or statutory bodies. Would you feel that you should be pressing for the rural transport to take over some of the ancillary work, say, where health services help and not transport? You'd be an advocate for passing some of that over to the rural transport.
Well, I think the Rural Transport Scheme and bus air should work much more closely together, and I know there have been attempts over the years to do just that. But really, when finances are tight, and everyone acknowledges that, they do need to work together to get those synergies. Where can they join services? What is bus air doing that maybe Flexibus or the Rural Transport Scheme could do better? And what's maybe the Rural Transport Scheme doing that really bus air might be able to do? So join together, synergise, and give the best possible service to the people.
Yeah, so the cost savings come from complementing each other and reducing maybe some of the unnecessary costs associated with running independent operations.
That's right. We don't want separate operations where maybe one would suffice. So they really need to work much more closely together. I'd say they are doing that, but I'd like to see more of it.
Well, that's great. So you'll provide continued support to Flexibus in County Meath?
Absolutely. The people want it, they demand it, and they absolutely need it. It's a lifeline for many people, particularly older people, but also people with disabilities as well. They will be dependent on it.
That's great. Thank you very much.